guys, this is Cameron with the art department, and I am here today with a very special guest. This is my twin sister, Ariel Derby, and she was a former professional ballerina dancer with the Los Angeles Ballet.
This is a pointe shoe scratcher, so it has metal prongs that will dig into the pointe shoe so that you don't slip and fall. It's very dangerous. I've cut myself a few times when I've been in a hurry. It's a very good tool. As you can see where the scratches are, where I've used this tool to scrape on. I have been dancing since I was 3 years old. I started, actually you and I started together.
Yep. We started dancing together, and she took the path and I took a different path, but...
Yeah, I started when I was 30 at a little studio in Akron, Ohio called Nan Cleaners.
My next question was, what age did you discover that you wanted to be a professional dancer? Was it at age 3, or did that kind of come later on?
At age 3, I didn't even kind of realize what I was doing. I think it kind of hit me when I got my first pair of pointe shoes. So, and usually that's anywhere between when you're 9 to 11.
Yeah.
So right when I got my first pair of pointe shoes, I know it sounds kind of weird, but I really enjoyed getting kind of like blisters and the pain, I guess, associated with getting pointe shoes. I loved everything about it.
Like the process of wearing them and wearing them out.
And I knew that it was a huge responsibility and that not everyone gets to go on pointe. So I think right when I was 9, that's when I kind of had a check mark in my head. It's like, boom, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. How did being a professional ballerina start as one of your dreams or goals? I mean, was it your goal to actually be a ballerina, or was it kind of start as a goal to be a dancer and you didn't really know which genre?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts?
Straight ballet. I mean, I still am girly. Like, I think I just connected more with ballet. As cliched as it is, I loved the pink. I loved, you know, the purple and pink little leotards. I loved everything about ballet, and the whole grace about it. And I just kind of gravitated more towards the ballet. Oh, I love the skirt. When we're allowed to wear warm-ups. This is my favorite. This was actually a handmade skirt. I know it looks a little raggedy, but you cut it out of a piece of fabric, and then you can wrap it around your body and customize your own ballet skirt.
Kind of royal feeling?
Yeah, I was just gonna say royal, but strict. I kind of liked having rules and guidelines to work with, whereas jazz and modern, you kind of have not that many boundaries. For some odd reason, I liked having rules and boundaries to follow. So this is a calf stretcher. You can put your foot in it. So this is second skin. They're basically gel pieces that you can put on blisters or corns that help heal and not make your feet hurt. Darning thread to sew your pointe shoes with. Tennis ball and softball you use to massage your sore muscles with. So right when I graduated high school was kind of when things started to take off. Up until then, like middle school and even parts of high school, I didn't really have summers off. I would go to training dance camps like Joffrey, New York, or I went to Detroit for American Ballet Theater, or different programs like that. So it kind of started to take off when I hit high school, and getting involved with more trainings across the country, and then with the training schools you kind of feed into the companies from there.
And when you started, how often would you rehearse and practice? Was this a daily thing?
It depends on the show that we were doing. So, and it depends on how new you are in the company, too. Like if there's other dancers in the company, a lot of the corps de ballet, they've already been there for maybe 5 or so years, so they already kind of have the gist of the way the company works and a lot of the choreography down.
Yeah.
So as a newbie coming into a company, you have a lot more rehearsal time. And it just kind of depends on the piece that you're doing. Like, for example, when we did Swan Lake, which was pushing a 3-hour ballet. I can't believe I'm going to say this on camera, but there was times where, oh, my doctor's going to hate me. There were times where we would rehearse until midnight. I kid you not. And we would start the day maybe at 9, 10, because when you're in the theater, it's very dark. You kind of can't tell if it's...
Lose track of time.
You lose track of time. So I remember I had my watch on, and we were rehearsing the last part of Swan Lake, like one of the finale pieces. And I remember just kind of zoning out, and I remember like glancing over my watch, and I saw that it was midnight, and I was just like, "You've got to be..."
It's been so long.
Yeah, I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me." I think what people don't know too about ballerinas is that we don't all wear buns. It's actually more sophisticated and more common once you're in a company to do different hairstyles.
Whether it's practice or actually performing, how does it feel to be on stage to you?
Oh man, I mean, it's completely different than being in the studio. Obviously in the studio you can stop and start, and you have your coaches and your director and teachers in front of you, but it feels completely different on stage, which can be it's good and bad. Like you never have the same show twice. So to be on stage, it was very raw. The feeling I get being on stage, I felt like I was at home, which was nice because I had traveled so much right when I left high school from state to state that at least in the theater I kind of felt like it was very familiar. That's something that I knew. So being on stage, I felt pretty grateful and just happy. And I think my favorite part was the audience. So it was just fun to kind of see the different faces in the first row or up on the balcony. You have people that are, say, 10 years old all the way up to 70. So it was kind of nice just to see kind of
a wide variety
of
people
range.
All coming to see the same production and performance. And I loved going and watching you perform. Throughout your career and your dance career, who have you kind of worked with? Is there anybody that you'll never forget that you got that one opportunity to work with, whether it be dancers, choreographers, companies? Who have you worked with?
Let me see. I worked with the Joffrey Ballet School in New York City, which was my first time away from home. I was 18 years old. George De La Pena, Francesca Corkle, Cameron Basden, a lot of the people who were originally from the beginnings of the Joffrey Ballet. So it was kind of nice for them to kind of give you what they had learned from Robert Joffrey himself. And then I trained in Seattle, Washington. And I got to be instructed by Peter Bowl, which he was in New York City Ballet. And then I got to work with Suzanne Farrell in Washington, D.C., which I think was by far one of the hardest, but one of the best and most rewarding experiences throughout my whole entire career. She gives so much of herself as a director that you can't help but want to give your very best in every show, every rehearsal.
120% on every day, every minute.
Yeah, she's definitely one of a kind, and she's much more of a mentor and a coach. I didn't necessarily see her as a director. She wanted to know everything about you. She was very personal. And then I worked with Colleen and Thordal Christensen with Los Angeles Ballet here in LA. Bunch of pointe shoes. And believe it or not, these are all what we like to call dead, not usable. So I keep them all in this bag. And each professional dancer has their own specs. So for example, these are all made in England, and mine is a 5 crown XX. The X is the width, the 5 is obviously the length, and the crown, that's a stamp. There's a person that creates each shoe. they're called makers, and you'll always, oh, what's your maker? Mine was crown. There's heart or club. Mine just happened to be crown.